How's it, guys? Welcome back to the Wild Protea. Thanks for joining me once again. Before I get into the cricket, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel. That is the Fair Digest YouTube channel. I'm using their platform. And then also, guys, give my page a like on Facebook, the Wild Protea fan page, and share it as much as possible. It's the only way, we can get this thing to grow. And I can get the page to grow and get the numbers up, so we can move from Facebook to YouTube. But anyway, enough of that, straight into the cricket. And so obviously I'd love to be sitting here with good news, but South Africa lost, and it's time to just have a look at a few things, and just a little bit of analysis on where we should go and what went wrong and stuff like that. So, without further ado, so we lost the series, obviously 2-0. It's an away series, but having said that, the way that we played in this series, I was away for a bit of the second test, so I didn't manage to see most of it. So, but from what I did see, it was pretty much the same as the first test. We can't get first innings runs, the top order's failing, and the consistency is just not there from us. And then our lower order also has zero ability to help out the top order. So, when a guy like Temba Bavuma is in on 50 odd, or someone else is in, the tail can't seem to help out in any sort of way. We lost our last 7 wickets for 33 runs. That is just, when I woke up on Monday morning, I thought, this could be a real game here. Aiden was on 60 odd. Then there was that huge partnership with him and Bavuma, and I thought, this is game on. And then 1 wicket brought 7. And that's just not good enough at that level. We have to ask questions. We have to. We need answers as well, but we need guys to step up. That's, basically. So just looking at some positives from the series, obviously Markram being in the runs, that bodes well. Obviously a lot of people would like him to be captain. I would say not yet for me. I would like him to score runs, maybe one more series. Aiden, he's a talented guy, and I think maybe he is the future captain, but he's just finding his feet again, so maybe that burden will be too much for him. Then again, he has captained in the past, the under-19 World Cup, the winning side, so maybe he's born for that role, as some people might think. He averaged over 50 in this series. Temba Bavuma as well averaged over 50 with the bat. So he's doing pretty well with the bat. I think perhaps what needs to happen with him, maybe you should go bat 5 instead of Quinny, and Quinny can go back to 7, and then we got to shake things up there in that middle lower order. Nokia and Rabada, they showed that they can be a force to be reckoned with anywhere in the world. Nokia obviously picking up a fifer. Rabada was Mr. Consistent throughout the test series. I thought he bowled really, really well. Just one thing on Rabada, his pace was a bit down. Just wondering if that's him easing himself back into Test cricket, or is that the back problems from last year maybe affecting his pace? Because I would say that at the age of, what is he now, 24, 25, to be bowling sort of in the mid 130s to lower 130s is a bit worrying for your main pace man. We did see Vernon bowl in that sort of range, but his movement with the ball was and his accuracy was way better than Kagiso. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. And then Linda showing that, he can play at that level, and he's a genuine option for us as a little bit of a bowling all-rounder there. And then, not many other positives to take out of this series, guys. It wasn't great, but there was some decent cricket played at times by us. But bottom line is just runs on the board. That's what wins you test matches, obviously. And then looking at things to work on, in my opinion, captaincy. first and foremost, we need to choose a long-term successor. Obviously, we've found out that Quinny is no longer going to be the captain, but we need a long-term successor. Who that will be, for me, either Aiden Markram, although I don't think he's ready yet, but you know that name's been thrown around. Dean Algar. If you look at Themba Bavuma as well, from what I've heard, he's quite a fantastic captain domestically, a good leader. So there's probably three guys you could look at, or three guys you could look at, and then you, like for me, I'm a former wannabe fast bowler, so I would love to see maybe Kagiso Rabada. You know, he played with Graham Smith, he played with Faf, and KG has quite a lot of experience on his young shoulders. So for me, maybe it'll help him sort of narrow down his future with the Proteas and sort of hone his skills as well. I think it's not a bad shout, but okay, what do I know? But I would love for KG to be captain. I think it would be brilliant, and I think it's time for him to make that step up. But that's just my opinion, guys. Have yours. Feel free to comment and tell me what you think. And then Quinton de Kock must move back to 6 or 7. That is an absolute must, guys. I think Quinny, you know, we had the experiment. It's only 4 test matches. He's been batting at 5. But I just don't think, like, you sometimes get a sense where maybe like he was getting in but finding ways of getting himself out. He just doesn't look the same player at 5 that he did at 7. And so for me, it's a no-brainer. You just switch it back. You tried it, didn't work, switch it back. Cheers, thanks for coming. Then fielding. Now I saw a lot of guys you know, commenting on the fielding. And I think fielding at that level is not a skill thing. I think they all have the skills. I think it's more of an attitude thing. And I think the attitude isn't there because you can see the guys are playing for themselves instead of the team. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that they're playing for themselves. They're playing for spots. A lot of guys under pressure in that team. You look at Rassie, he's under pressure. You know, he got a little bit of runs, but he's not cashing in. Aiden's trying to, you know, establish himself again. Faf's under pressure for runs. I know you got that 200 or near 200, but that was against Sri Lanka's, let's be honest, Sri Lanka's C team. When they had like 2 or 3 bowlers. So he's under pressure. Bavuma's always under pressure, obviously. Koni, he did well last season, but he's under pressure for runs. So I think there's a lot of thinking of yourself in that team, thinking, I need to get runs, I need this, I need that. And I think that's translated in the fielding where your mind's not totally on what's happening. It's kind of on your mind is on your part of the game, where fielding is your part of the game as well. And I think that may be contributing to some of the fielding mishaps that we did see. And then, you know, if you look at the batting, is it time that we consider other guys in the squad? Like for me, Keegan Peterson, Calvin Rain, and Rainer van Tonder all average over 50 domestically. I think they're going to have to get a look in at some point. We can't keep failing time after time with the same players. Now I know that we had sort of a revamp not so long ago, but not really. If you look at it, Rassie's the only real change to that top order. You know, I know there's been a lot of retirements over the last sort of 5-6 years, but I think now we need to be brave and bold in our selections and pick guys like Calvin, pick guys like King Peterson. They're not going to wait around forever, and you know what? You give a youngster a chance, and he just might surprise you. So I think that when you look at the run scorers over the last 3 years, like I've done. It just makes sense. They have to be. They're all up in the runs, and they all have to, I think, get a look in pretty soon. I would say Faf is probably on his last legs. Rassie needs to start converting. Yeah, and then you know Quinny might feel under pressure, although I don't think he is. And then Bavuma's always under pressure, even though he averaged 50 this series. People are still calling for his head. So it's a bit of a tough one, but at the end of the day, you gotta look at a guy's overall stats as well. And overall, Themba will be the first to tell you that, you know, maybe he hasn't been good enough. Faf as well, the last 2 years hasn't been good enough. So you know, guys, it might be time for change, and it might be time for some new faces. You know, I said that in one of my last podcasts, but I think now it's evident that we have to try and move on from this, and change can sometimes be the best thing for a team. And then Boucher also talked about getting a batting coach and stuff like that. I think he's hinting at the fact that Jacques Callis had to leave or whatever. He didn't have to leave, but okay. And I just wonder, you know, a batting coach, he doesn't fix your mindset. He doesn't fix you playing a rash shot. He doesn't. You know, he helps you sort of. He helps you in like your technique and stuff like that. Maybe mentally a bit. But I'm not sure how a batting coach would have helped in that situation. But okay, like I said, I'm on the outside looking in. Maybe there's someone else with a bit of insight that can let me know. Feel free to comment, guys, if you think the batting coach would have helped us in that situation. Yeah. And then, you know, Mark talks about, you know, getting coaches in and whatever. But some of the decisions he and the management team have made just had not made sense to me. Quinton de Kock as captain for one. Why would you put that burden on him when he was our top run scorer last season? And he's already got the one-day captaincy. So why would you put that burden on his shoulders? And then moving him up to 5, I think, you know, I have said in the past that maybe it's a good idea, but in hindsight, obviously it really wasn't. And you've got to question that decision when you've got guys like Kyle Verreyn and Keegan Peterson, Rainer van Tonder, who bat in those sort of positions and know what it's like, where Quinny hasn't, especially at test level. So you got to question stuff like that. You got to question sort of tactics as well. You know, like I said in the first test, there wasn't enough of guys changing angles, going around the wicket, going over the wicket, changing angles at the crease. You know, changing angles in the field, making the batsman look at something different. There was a bit more of it in the second test. So obviously there was a message, but why did it take so long to figure out? You know, I was sitting at home, I looked at it once in the first test and I was like, nothing's happening. Come on, guys, we need to change something. And that is another part of guys thinking for themselves in the team. There's not enough guys going to Quinny and being like, hey, you know, try this, try that. And I just think it's because of the situation we're in. Guys are thinking of their own game instead of thinking a team game. And that's, in my view, what's going on there. And then obviously, looking at things we have to work on. CSA has been a mess for quite some time, probably the last 2 years, probably maybe longer. And I think that's finally catching up with us. Hopefully now, you know, we've got an interim board in, and they're doing quite well at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. This process now takes time. There's just been a restructure now of cricket and stuff like that. So we'll have to be patient. We'll have to wait. We'll have to support the boys on the field, and I think that only time will tell if they can steer the ship on the right course again. And then last but not least, I think that we need to play more test cricket. I really do. If you look at Dean Alger and Faf du Plessis, they made their debuts in 2012. Joe Root made his debut in the same time, in the same year. Dean Alger and Faf du Plessis, 60 tests. Joe Root, 100 tests. They played 40 more tests in the same period as us. I think that's just utterly ridiculous. I really do. I know the big three want to only play against each other and they play these long drawn out series of 5 tests or 4 tests. We go to Pakistan, we play 2. Sri Lanka come here, we play 2. Now for me, I think we gotta look at getting away from the big three, the England, India and Australia. Play more tests against the likes of Zimbabwe, Afghanistan, Ireland, West Indies, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and New Zealand, and play longer series as well. Instead of a 2-match series, play a 3-4 match series, so the guys can get more test cricket. I think that's another thing that's really hampering us, is the fact that we don't play a lot of test cricket. And the only way you can get better at something is if you do it over and over again, especially cricket. Cricket has so much to do with muscle memory. You do something over and over again until it becomes second nature to you. So I think that we we have to look at that. It's something we seriously have to look at. I'm not sure how schedules are made and stuff like that, so I don't profess to know how schedules are made. But I think that CSA need to, pull finger and get some more cricket for the lads. I know it's difficult now during this time with COVID, but it's been going on for years. So we need to sort it out. The more Test cricket we play, the better we'll get. Especially if you're going to blood youngsters, then you want to play as much cricket as possible. And that's pretty much it for a review of that series, guys. A lot to discuss, a lot to talk about going forward. But the only way we can fix things is together. And having said all of that, we still have to support the boys out there on the field. We have to be patient. It's going to take some time. Especially Mark Boucher as well. He's a young coach, an inexperienced coach, so it's going to take him time to learn as well. So I know he's played a lot of Test cricket, but he hasn't coached at that level for a long period, or coached at any level for a long period. So I think that we've got to be patient with Mark as well. I'm not going to sit and say that we should have been patient with Enoch, and then once Mark loses a couple series, say that we must kick him out as well. If we're going to be patient with one, we need to be patient with the other. That's just my opinion. You guys might differ, but that's the way I see it. Now, moving on to hopefully bigger and better things. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we start the T20 series in Lahore against Pakistan. Now, obviously, a lot of the Test match players have come home because of the Aussies pulling out. Because of, let's not get into because why they didn't come. Because that's just a long story, and this podcast will last for about 3 hours, and I don't think you want to hear all of that. So an opportunity for guys that have not yet played, an opportunity for guys that I think are on their last legs internationally, not last legs internationally in terms of age, in terms of performance, I believe. So last chance saloon for a few guys, and then a chance for the new guys to step up and show what they can do. A chance to see what Heinrich Clarkson can do as a captain, and Ryan Rickleton's and the Glenton Stearmans and the Nandre Burgers of the world. Time for them to make the step up and say, hey, you guys, listen, you know what? Next T20 series, when all the guys are available, I've done pretty well here in Pakistan and I deserve a look-in. So chance for guys to put their hands up, I think. And I think it's maybe a good thing that some of the test guys have gone, just because they took that beating in the Test series. And I think maybe the mindset might just shift because you don't have those scars. Okay, there are a few guys that are staying, but you don't have those scars of playing and these guys whipping us like that. So I think it's going to be an interesting series. I'm changing my prediction. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I did predict that Pakistan would win it. I think that South Africa are going to show fight. I think we're going to come back, and I think we're going to win this series 2-1. And even if we don't, hey, you know what? I'm going to be here supporting the boys through thick and thin. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for you. So feel free to comment, guys, please. The more comments, more comments, the better. The more we can get this thing going, the more it's shared and stuff like that. I thank you to everyone who has engaged. There's been quite a bit of engagement throughout this test series. I appreciate that, and long may it continue. So like this video, share it, and I'll see you again probably next week. I can't remember if the T20 series has been played over the whole weekend, but whenever it ends, and then we'll do a review of sort of the whole series rather than one by one individually, and then see where we are from there. So enjoy the cricket tomorrow, guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you again soon. Cheers for now.